The 2024 Steelers are starting to look vastly different. That defense is starting to look stout. That offense is starting to take shape in my eyes. And I think Mike Tomlin may have realized the error in his ways and is really trying to change here in 2024. Welcome back to Mike Drop Sports, everybody, for a Thursday edition of the show. I want to talk about Pittsburgh Steelers news as we always do here daily on the upload. And I really want to dive into what Mike Tomlin has done here in the offseason, him, Omar Khan, the whole staff, and how it's been flipped around and how this roster is really starting to change. And I know some fans may still be really optimistic, but I think I am leaning towards more of the high hopes crowd. I really think that the Pittsburgh Steelers can have some viable options across the board and be able to make things a little bit different. And yes, dare I say, be better in 2024 to where maybe that playoff win drought ends. A team that hasn't had a win since 2016. The reason I talk about all this morning here on a Thursday leading into the weekend is because I think Mike Tomlin has really changed. I really truly believe that. And I know this is from an outsider's perspective that isn't in that building every day. And I know we haven't gotten to OTAs or mini camps or the offseason programs yet. I know that. But the way Mike Tomlin and Omar Khan are taking this roster and flipping it around a little bit, not totally, but flipping it around a little bit, making the necessary changes to do what? Make Mike Tomlin comfortable with what he has. You look at the coaching staff changes and bringing in guys that really do things that Mike Tomlin likes. That the way Mike Tomlin likes to play football. Those are the coaches you're bringing in, along with sprinkling in some maybe younger guys or guys that are more into the passing game stuff, maybe guys that are more into the analytical stuff. But you're getting a good mix inside of that building. And when you bring a bunch of guys with a bunch of different ideas, sometimes that tends to be a good combination. And I think you're going to see here in 2024 Mike Tomlin take his thumb off of this team and stop micromanaging. At least that's what I've felt like here watching since, the 2015 time frame to current. I feel like Mike Tomlin has been a micromanager. I feel like he didn't want to reach outside of the organization to promote, that he didn't want to hire from outside, and he always kept promoting from within and trying to continue to have the stranglehold on this football team. But what this offseason has shown me is that Mike Tomlin has a willingness to change. And I think that is a quality thing that I think a lot of people were starting to overlook or haven't even looked at yet. That Mike Tomlin is truly trying to mend his ways and mend his deficiencies. And I think Mike Tomlin sat back, him, Omar Khan, and Art Rooney, and really looked at why this team wasn't succeeding, and you're starting to see the changes. I really truly believe that Mike Tomlin brought in a guy like Arthur Smith. Why? Because he plays a style of football. He runs an offense that's a style that Mike Tomlin is comfortable with, and he does it in an effective way. Running the football, controlling the line of scrimmage, playing aggressive Steeler type football. And I really like the way Mike Tomlin brought in a guy that has head coaching experience, that has a significant time as an offensive coordinator with success. A guy that Mike Tomlin can do what with, guys? Fully trust and not have to do what? Micromanage him. He's not going to have to put his hand in the pile there. He is going to be able to be the head man and be the guy that handles the broad picture, not the individual pictures, not the defensive room, not the offensive room, not the special teams room. Yes, he'll have a hand in it. He's the head coach, but he's not going to have his thumb and his hands pressed down on those guys, pushing them in any certain direction to not trust them. He's not going to not trust them. He has brought these guys in because he trusts what they do. Yes, he retained Terrell Austin because I think he trusts Terrell. I think what happened last year with that defense was that they were beat up because they were on the field so much, and they just got wore down. The injuries caught up to them, and things fell apart. But I think Mike Tomlin will let Terrell Austin this season do more. I think he will allow him to play around a little bit more. You bring in some other coaches and different position groups, DBs, assistant coaches to the DBs. You bring in wide receiver coaches, quarterback coaches. You've brought in different guys with different ideas. And I think that will give Mike Tomlin that comfortable sense. And I think gaining the weapons, gaining things through the draft that are going to make you even more comfortable will shine through here for the 2024 season. You get players like a Patrick Queen, a Russell Wilson, a Justin Fields. You start to make Mike Tomlin feel a little bit more comfortable about that quarterback room, about the middle linebacker, inside linebacker position, to where Mike Tomlin maybe can stop being so hard on those positions and having his hands so deep in the pile. Maybe that's the answer. Maybe this is what we've been searching for. Maybe it's just taken Mike Tomlin this amount of time to figure things out and figure out where this ship had gone off course. And I really, really, truly believe that 2024 is looking a lot different than 2023 and that Mike Tomlin isn't going to be the same guy. Definitely, when you have people around you that you can trust and that in your head have the ability to get the job done at a high level to where you don't have to be worrying about what they're doing. You didn't promote from within. You're bringing these guys from outside. You interviewed them. They have amazing ideas. You really fully put your trust in them. You tell them, hey, sign a longer term deal like an Arthur Smith guy. Or the offensive coordinator, sign a 3-year deal, be here for a while, let's build something together. You start to have a trust, you start to have a working relationship. Mike Tomlin didn't trust Matt Canada, you could see it. Mike Tomlin then brings in Sully and Faulkner to be the interim guys. You could tell he didn't trust them fully. But yet, toward the end of the year, he started to develop that trust, which started to show when Mason Rudolph entered the fold and was able to really shine as a quarterback and give the Steelers true NFL quarterback play. You saw the defense playing well under Terrell Austin with no-name players toward the end of the year. They were still effective. They were still able to do things with a ravaged inside linebacker room. Injuries on the back end to Minkah Fitzpatrick. Suspensions to KZ. Only having one viable cornerback option in Joey Porter Jr., but yet we're still able to make things work. So you see the growth of this football team, and you started to see it at the end of last year in the 2020 or 2023 season. You started to see it, and I think it's continually pushed through here this offseason. Yes, the draft is going to be big because the Steelers still have some holes they need to fill. But those holes, once filled, makes this team so much better and continues to build on a team that I'm already confident about, at least in my eyes, I'm already confident about. I'm confident that a veteran quarterback in Russell Wilson will be able to lead this football team. I'm confident that Justin Fields, a backup, is going to be able to learn and grow from a guy like Russell Wilson. I'm confident in the addition of a Patrick Queen. I'm confident in the way Omar Khan and Mike Tomlin have constructed this roster and started to add real depth all over the board. And not leaving any stone unturned out there and really exploring all options and doing it in a financially responsible way to where it doesn't bury them down the road later in the cap. I'm truly thrilled with it. And you look at the visits, the pre-draft visits, you look at the free agency visits, the Steelers are definitely doing their due diligence at positions of need. Really, really hammering down the homework. And I really think that it's going to pay off in this year's draft. And I think the Steelers are still going to be able to get a quality player at 20. And I think they're going to be able to make some solid moves in the mid to late rounds also. And early in the draft, earlier. Maybe they make a splash move somewhere. Don't be surprised if there's not a trade of some sort, either to gain more draft capital and get rid of a player, or just trading back to gain more draft capital. Don't be shocked, Steeler Nation, if that's what you see at the draft from your Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's talk about one more thing. I seen a article from one Steelers insider, Mark Cabali, talking about the reason that Diontae Johnson was probably let go, and that was money. Coming on to the last year of his deal, making a significant amount of money in the top 5 contracts on the team at the time, knowing that they ain't going to re-sign Diontae Johnson back to a contract. And Mark Cabali also said that maybe, Diontae Johnson wasn't comfortable with the quarterback situation, even though Russell Wilson and Justin Fields were in the fold. Maybe he wasn't comfortable with that, not thinking that he would get the numbers that he deserves to be able to cash in on another contract, his third contract in the league. Maybe that's the reasons. Mark thinks that seems to be the major reason was the money. And he was getting older and he wasn't confident in the quarterback play. And why have a guy that may be a tad bit disgruntled and that you're not going to pay? Get something for him now and get rid of him and get out from underneath that massive salary because you're not going to keep him. And we talked about that. That seemed to be our theme and thoughts also throughout the season. When we talked about Diontae Johnson heading into the last year of his deal, that the Pittsburgh Steelers were going to have to figure something out, some sort of extension or get rid of him via trade. And they did the latter. They got rid of him via trade. And I think that the subtraction of Diontae Johnson could be an addition to the Pittsburgh Steelers, freeing them up to bring in another star wideout that they could find in the draft. Those types of things, or letting somebody else on the roster emerge. Maybe putting more emphasis onto the tight end room and the running backs being pass catchers. Adding a guy that's a returner, a fifth wide receiver, a running back that's a versatile option in Patterson. A guy that's a little bit older, but you're adding weapons. Adding people maybe that Arthur Smith is familiar with. Things of that nature. You're doing some different things. You're mixing it up and you're not staying the same old stale Steelers. And you got rid of a guy and you did get an addition from him. You got Diontae Jackson, a serviceable guy, a guy that can be serviceable to be good to play across from Joey Porter Jr. regardless of what happens in the draft. So again, guys, that's something from a Steelers insider. Mark Cabali always has good stuff. Just wanted to mention that's pretty much why they wanted to get rid of Diontae Johnson. Also, I wanted to bring up why I think this Steelers team is going to be different. And I think that is Mike Tomlin. I think he's changing right before our eyes. And I know a lot of people hate on Tomlin, and I'm in that crowd at times. But I want to give credit where it's due, and I think Mike Tomlin is significantly making some changes here in 2024, and I have to applaud that. I really think I can see Mike Tomlin starting to grow, which I know how odd that sounds when you're this deep into an NFL career as a head coach. But I think Mike Tomlin's willingness to really change this whole thing around is really starting to show through, and I think it's a positive one, guys. All right, let's wrap this show up for the day. Don't forget our live show tonight. Steel City Live, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on Mike Drop Sports. Don't forget our daily upload tomorrow. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons. It makes the world a difference for us as creators. I really, truly appreciate it. Also, there's ways to support the channel in the bio. And don't forget our giveaway on April 12th live on Steel City Live here on Mike Drop Sports. So don't forget that. That's coming, but you got to be a Mike Drop Mafia member for 99 cents a month, and that gets you in the giveaways. And that will be every month a giveaway from the channel, and they'll just keep getting more and more exciting as we move forward here. So until tonight, guys, at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then if I don't see you then, I'll see you tomorrow morning for the daily upload. But until then, peace.